Hello, and welcome to CR Sports Wrap. This is a brief look at College of the Redwoods athletics. And here's your host, Liam Warner and Coach Hoke.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the beautiful Redwood Bowl on the campus of Cal Poly Humboldt here in Arcata, as your College of the Redwoods Corsairs take on the Lions of De Anza as they make the 5.5-hour drive north to Humboldt County from Cupertino. Hello, everyone. I'm Liam Warner. Alongside me is the coach, Hakeem Saidon, and College of the Redwoods. Hoke, after losing their first two games, maybe a lot of people were writing them off after a 3-year hiatus, but all they've done since then is win 5 straight.
Yeah, it's been an amazing stretch by the Corsairs. They've taken on a couple tough teams, had a couple overtime wins, and in that 5-game span, they've averaged over 41 points per game. So a lot of good offense, and as we all know, they have their strong defense as well, backing them up.
Yeah, and so a lot of strong quarterback play from the Corsairs. And they're led by their two quarterbacks, Max Huff, who has really good numbers, 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 57% completion percentage, 928 yards. Tegan Gaither, only 2 interceptions, 8 touchdowns, 48% completion percentage. And then also their outstanding wide receiver, a guy who does everything on the offensive end, Demario Watson. I have the note here, he has 3 rushing touchdowns, a receiving touchdown, and a passing touchdown. That guy can do just about everything for this offense.
Yeah, it's nice having Demario around. He's got a great skill set. He has a lot of leadership skills, stays calm under pressure, and not to mention his running and throwing ability.
Yeah. And let's see, Emmanuel Ibongwingham also doing well. He has 168 yards, 42 attempts, averaging about 28 yards per game. And after they lost Levi Cox-Cooley for the season, he's been doing well.
Yeah, Emmanuel's been a big part of this team, even when Levi was still in there. Whenever Levi would come out the game and Emmanuel would go in, we didn't miss a step at all. Emmanuel would take up that same role, get the same yardage. He's a tough runner inside, outside. He's got good quickness laterally. So a lot of good things that he brings to the table for this team.
And the weather's a little bit different today. All the other home games so far, at least the ones that I've been to, very sunny, very warm. But today it's a typical Humboldt County day in November. Overcast, rain earlier today. It's a lot colder. Pretty normal conditions for a lot of the local players. A lot of the guys who are from the warmer climates in California might have to get used to the weather, but a little bit different today than the other home games weather-wise.
Yeah, hey, this is great football weather. I know as an athlete myself, I love being out there in that rain, going against that competition. Brings out the best within you.
Yeah, and they are facing a De Anza team that seems really good on the offensive side of the ball. They are averaging 30 points per game and 434 yards per game. And Redwoods averaging 36 points per game and 392 yards per game. I was telling you earlier that this game seems like a game where whichever defense and special teams show up more, they're probably more likely to win.
Yeah, with wet conditions like today, it's going to come down to what defense can get that stop and also what offense can execute in that red zone, who can get their passing game going consistently. As we mentioned earlier, each team has averaged a good amount of points, but it's going to be who on defense can get that ball back so the offense can march down the field with it.
Yes, exactly. And one of the standout guys on defense and special teams for the Corsairs has been Mason Pretty. I see here that he had a 60-yard punt touchdown against Yuba in the last game.
Yeah, Mason does a lot of great things for this team. Not only does he sit as a ball hawk in the depth of our secondary, but he also does great job on punt returns and kickoff returns. He's really fast, good lateral speed, good quickness straight away as well. And he's really hard to bring down to the ground. Once you make contact with him, he's really good at evading those tackles and breaking free from anyone that grabs onto him.
Leads the team in interceptions as well. 3 for a total of 70 yards. I mean, we're talking about Demario Watson doing pretty much everything on the offensive side. Mason Pretty seems to be the Swiss Army knife on the defense and special teams side.
Yeah, he's almost like a poor man's Deion Sanders, right? He's got the skills that he could carry an offense if he needed to, but his specialties on that defensive end getting those stops for us.
Exactly. Well, I think we have an interview with the head ball coach, Jason White, coming up.
Welcome to CR Football Radio with head coach Jason White. Welcome, coach.
Hello.
CR is currently 5-2 playing Danza at home Saturday at 1 p.m. You all had a bye last week. You were the week before that you beat, and they have not won a game, and bye before that. How do you keep your team mentally and physically ready for such a big game against Danza this weekend?
When you have a big game and basically go on the postseasons, the carrot, so to speak, it doesn't take a lot to keep you guys motivated for that kind of goal.
And it's supposed to rain this weekend. Do you think that gives you an advantage? And how are you guys preparing for that?
We're practicing the rain. So it's raining all week, so we are not going inside or doing anything like that. We want to be outside just for that reason, to prepare for practicing in wet weather. And obviously protecting the football is a big deal this week. The turnover battle sometimes is the biggest difference in a game. And so, us practicing all week, hopefully they don't get as much practice in the wet weather as we do. But I'm sure they'll figure out something to get ready. Protecting the football, big deal this week with the wet weather.
You have had a few big injuries this season, and other players definitely had to step up. Who are you most proud of seeing step up so far this year?
Oh, that's undoubtedly Max Huff. You need to answer that question. It's he's just improved tremendously since the first game when him and Tegan basically split time. And it's been great to see him make so much progress as a player since he's been with us since the spring. And I don't think I've ever had a player improve so much.
Only 3 games left for the season. What are your team goals for the remaining games?
One at a time. That's what our mantra is. It's we're just worried about this next one. We're not worried about the other 2 after that. And it's just a matter of staying focused and not looking too far ahead ever. So that's just been our philosophy all year.
If the season ended today, how would you rank your first year as head coach at CR compared to years past of you coaching, and any big memories, anything like that?
Oh, this year has been one of the funnest years I've ever had in my 28 years of coaching. It ranks up there with going 9-1 at Humboldt State, and in '96 we had a really good team here at College of the Redwoods. Going 9-1 after going 1-9 in '99 and 2000 here, that was a huge deal. That was a lot of fun. Also, that it's up there with those seasons, and memories in particular. Getting our first win in overtime. Our kids just storming the field and being ecstatic. That was an incredible experience at West Hills, and then beating Foothill after they were slaughtering everybody 58-6 on average. That proved to everybody that we're kind of for real. We're not just here. We're not pretenders. We're not just a fluke. Those are 2 games that definitely I'll remember.
That is CR Football Radio with head coach Jason White. Thank you.
All right, that was head coach Jason White.
Coach Hoke with you here back at the Redwood Bowl, and I'm joined here for a brief interview with our women's volleyball coach, Petra Lorenzi. Coach, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me here.
Good. It's great to see you. Great to see you out here. So give us a little background about where you come from and what brought you here to College of the Redwoods.
Yeah, well, I actually grew up and played originally from Del Norte High, so born and raised in the area. True Del Norter, but made the transition to Humboldt 6 years ago when a volleyball coach opening happened, and I got a phone call from our athletic department and Maggie White, not football coach White, but Maggie White was currently the softball coach, and I had a long history of her, played under her for softball as a 14s and 16 youth. And together, they gave me the opportunity here, and it was a good decision. Great step. I've loved it.
That's great to have you here. I didn't realize you were a softball player as well back in your day.
Yeah, through high school. I played travel out of Humboldt for what was then the Humboldt Days, now the Mist, but for 14, 16s, and 18s down here.
Oh, wow. That's great. So let's talk about your team this year. Do you have a good number of local players? Do you have out of the area players? How do you really go about your scouting to compile your roster?
Yeah, we're a unique area for volleyball. We don't have much travel play around here. So we try to get as much local as we can and then supplement that with out of the area kids that are more position specific. So we're actually about 50-50 this year with our local and our out of the area. And both bring a lot of dynamic to the team. It's nice for the local kids to be able to experience kids from other areas of the country. Regionally, we are as far as Oklahoma and Hawaii. And as local as Eureka, Arcata, McKinleyville, and Fortuna.
Wow, that's amazing. It's good to have that 50-50 mix. You get a good perspective on people that have been here, know this lifestyle, and people coming in having to adjust to that lifestyle. So it's cool you have that good mix. So let's touch on a little bit on this season. What have been some of kind of your bright spots, maybe somewhere that you are looking forward to improve on the end of the season here, and kind of your overall thoughts on your season so far?
Absolutely. One of the things when you bring kids from all over the place is they have to learn how to play as a team together in a very short time period. So volleyball is a smaller team than, say, a football team, so it's a lot more of a tight-knit program. It requires a lot of communication and teamwork on the court, understanding how to play with each other. So over this season, we've absolutely grown and developed as a team, working how to work with playing with the person next to you, how to keep the ball off the ground and not run into each other at the same time. And we've gotten a whole lot better at that over the years. Our both defensively and front row has absolutely developed, become more powerful. And in volleyball, that's the fun part to watch. But even the skill set in our back row is really one of our strengths. And they continue to get better each week. Our front row is composed of a lot of our local players. And as they grow through the season, it's been really fun to watch them develop and get a better understanding of the game and being able to see it at such a faster pace and them really developing right with it. So it's been a good season, definitely a developmental season for us. It's put us on a good track though. We have one more week left to play, both on the road. And we're looking to kind of piece all of that together, hopefully have everybody healthy and in the season strong with a bang at Shasta and Siskiyou.
Yeah, I must say your coaching staff has done a great job of bringing those ladies together. I can really tell as somebody who's watched a lot of volleyball that they enjoy playing together and they do a good job of communicating as well. So good job on you and your coaching staff on that.
Thank you.
Any final words for your team and your fans out there? You got a couple games coming up this week if you'd like to touch on those, and maybe even any off-season plans for your program.
Yeah, we do. We have 2 games. We go to Shasta and then Siskiyou Friday and Saturday afternoon next week, if you can catch them on a live stream through those schools. But I mean, it's been just great having community support this year, having football back, having more number of student body athletes on campus has brought a great atmosphere to our games this year, and that's absolutely been helpful to the girls. It's why they look like they're having fun and playing out there. So thank you to the community that supported us so far this year. Going into the spring, we will work in the off season, get stronger, get faster, keep piecing things together, and obviously coaching wise hit the recruiting trail and try to piece in some of the pieces we're losing. We will be losing Mia Holcomb, our setter, and 2-year player Zoe Zerlang from Fortuna High, who's made such an impact on our team over the last 2 years. So trying to replace them is never easy, but we'll be going looking for that and hoping to do it with a couple local kids, along with a few kids from out of the area.
Hey, well, it sounds like you guys are having lots of fun. It sounds like you're getting better every day too. So best of luck rest of the way, Coach.
Thank you.
So that was Coach Hoke with Petra Lorenzi from volleyball, and we'll be joined in a couple minutes by one of our former football players, Kaiser Perez. Coach Hoke back here at the Redwood Bowl, and I'm joined by former football star Kaiser Perez. Would you like to introduce yourselves to the fans as well as talk about what did you accomplish while you're at CR and where you went afterwards?
All right. Well, how's it going? I'm Kaiser Perez. I'm one of the local kids that actually ended up coming from Del Norte County. So it was pretty cool to end up being one of the kids that was like, I don't want to go there. I want to go somewhere big. And then came here and ended up making something out of it. And to me, it was just like the experience of changing my game for school, honestly. And what it came for me was becoming a dean student and then taking the game from football and using like the game that I love playing from 7 years old to get me the opportunity to go get school paid for free. And then I transfer out to Kansas and I get another 3 years of football. And from that, I win 2 championships, get a chance to go play in like a national championship game. And it's, a feeling that you can't describe to like these kids that are like looking back at it as 6, 7, 8 years ago for me being in this position where they are now and working with some of these kids, have coached some of these kids that have came from Crescent City after starting my own company. It's something pretty special. So, after leaving CR, like I said, I moved out to Kansas. I graduated 2018 and I started my own company called Get Right. And with Get Right, it's the slogan is get right or get left. And so with that, it's just whatever you apply it to in life. And for me, it was school. School came first. You're a student first, then athlete. And I was like, if I can't get it done in the books, I'm not going to get on the field. So with that, I just implied that method towards my life and putting that towards others. And now I've got a gym in Crescent City, sports performance location, and I'm helping the athletes like these guys here learn that there's a bridge that can be gapped to get out, where it doesn't matter where you are, especially now with technology and social media and everything like that. It's just about like who and what you apply with yourself. And when they see that opportunity, then you have. So, with that, it's just like it's cool to be here and be able to go walk around and talk to these kids and tell them like the same thing, like just go and experience it. You don't have to be like, I don't want to go there and then just never do it. Like I'd rather have tried than say, well, I don't know, what if.
No, that's a beautiful story, man. Not only were you a local guy that made it out of here, but you did it on scholarship. And I think that's a great model for a lot of local athletes and just athletes in general, that you have the ability to go to a junior college, have success there, and move forward to either a D1 school or move on professionally as well. So that's a great story there that you have. So now let's touch on your company, right? You mentioned you have a company called Get Right. So what kind of backgrounds do you deal with, as far as do you deal with athletes more? Do you deal with people of different professions? Kind of what kind of umbrella do you guys cover?
Yeah. So when I was here at CR and I was, getting library training and everything like that, I was eating at Sammy's barbecue every day back when they were off King Salmon. And Sammy's like, man, like, who are you? How are you eating all this food? Da, 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 this and that. And I was like, I'm just this kid from Crescent City, And so he's like, you need to meet my brother. And so then I met Eddie Vanuku, the owner of the Athlete Factory, and he became my mentor. And, I went there and I met him for about a week or two. And he told me, you don't ever have to pay me another dime or dollar because of the work ethic that you've shown me. You're coming here at 8 p.m. There was no other college athletes at the time because he was just starting the Athlete Factory. Mm-hmm. And so there was no one that was wanting to grind like that. So it was just like, what I got for you. And I can see what he's saying is like, I don't have a class time for that. There's no money. There's no market. So if you want to come at 8 p.m. when I'm closing and no one's here, I'll leave you here to work out. But that's all I can do for you. He had a family growing and everything like that. And I just kept showing up and then being willing to it became a niche for me, like training, working out and things like that. And I offered to help with the kids classes, the adult fitness classes. And I wasn't even certified. And then I became a certified personal trainer to help pay through school, to help me, because this is something that I found a passion for fitness and health. So from there, I just, he's like, do you want to stay here and play or, stay here and keep coaching? And I was like, no, like I'm going to go do this. And he's like, no, I'm just messing with you. Like, I know this is something you're meant to do. So speaking on that, it started out as sports performance. And like when I went to my pro day, like all the senior pro days and all that kind of stuff like that, doing the 5, 10, 5s, L drills, 40s, and being the guy that's like helping everybody and like shaving time off of their times to like help them get faster. And they're like, who are you? And then like, I'm like, oh, let me take my sweater off. I got to go next. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, oh, I'm a player too. They're like, dang, we thought you were a coach. So at that moment, I knew I had something to do with it, but I didn't want it to just be like athletics. I wanted it to be a thing. So like with the circle around the GR, it's the symbolization of everything with balance and like with like health, fitness, like mental, spiritual, everything like that. So with the gym that I've created, I work with kids from 6 years old all the way to 18, starting them with, just the basics of like body weight training and footwork, hand-eye coordination, speed, power, agility, so that they can become a better athlete. Because like you've got 5-year-olds that you see on social media that are from San Diego that have been training for 2 years already since they were 3,
Right.
and running routes better than 10-year-olds at 6. So I want to help that become a normal here. So starting at the foundation of the younger ages there and teaching them, because my bachelor's degree is in strength conditioning. So teaching them the proper mechanics on how to lift safely and having them the parents feel safe that their kid's in an environment where the coach is there and other kids are there and they're growing and they're socializing and they're learning things that they would have never learned. You got kids that never played basketball, now want to play basketball. Kids never thrown a football that now want to play football. They never played soccer, now they want to play soccer. So it's exposing these kids to things they would have never done because they're sitting on the couch.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good opportunity for a lot of young kids. And I'll be first to tell you, as somebody that grew up around here as well in a rural area, if you have that, like somebody that's older or even just that opportunity to do sports and to do things that are productive, that aren't troublesome, it's going to take you so far in life. And I think your story of building that company is really key, because it really goes to show that hard work and commitment can take you way further than any piece of paper or certification can. Because I've seen so many people I've gone to school with that have studied that stuff and completely stopped with it. And they choose a desk job over what they actually have a passion for.
Yeah.
So I really want to commend you for having that passion and following through on that commitment.
I appreciate that, man.
So last thing here,
yeah.
Just briefly touch on where people can find you, maybe some final thoughts on your company and how people can get involved in that. And just kind of touch on that briefly.
Yeah. So if you have any information about Get Right, you can literally just go to getrightllc.com. And on the tabs pages, I have updates, links. I have a YouTube channel. So anything that you're looking for, merchandise, scheduling, classes, email, phone number, all that, it's on getrightllc.com. You can reach out to me. To anything like that. I'm just trying to get involved with the youth here as well, with the youth there, and make that branch and also make that connection. That's why I reached out to Kyle and trying to get BRAC involved with CR and like doing things with, helping the athletes and, teaching these kids entrepreneurship, like even just like putting my merchandise in the store and like showing them like half the profits are just going right back to the sports programs, because that's what I care about. Like I don't need the money. It's just like pay for the product, pay for the sports, and just like motivate these kids, be like, damn, this guy did it. And he was here like just like me. And I was born in Arcata, and I just think that I'm not going to do nothing, but I'm just going to CR to try and get a GE or, just general education. But then they have that spark of just like, okay, like I can do anything I can if this guy can too. And that's the mindset I have. And like I said, just to keep the mindset in your head, keep the slogan, get right or get left, because if you're not getting right, you're going to get left behind.
Hey, that's big facts. And we see it here on the football field every week. If you don't get it right, you can get left behind in the dust.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Hey,
thank you, Kaiser. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. That was Kaiser Perez from GetRightLLC.com. Make sure to go check them out.
All right. Welcome back to the CR Football Postgame Show. We have Chase Stubing and Jane Sandusky, a couple of players of the game here with me. And guys, I mean, Deanza came in, with a really good quarterback and a really prolific offense. How are you guys able to, hold them, to the amount of yards and points that you guys did today?
Well, we say things start on. You can't hear me? Sorry. That's my first time.
Yeah, it's all good. All good.
Yeah, we say things start on Monday. I think we did a really good job of that, Monday through Friday, putting our time in. And really, the performance we had was something we already had prepared for and did before the game.
So you guys lost your first 2 games of the season, couple of tough losses. Then you've rattled off 6 straight wins. Is there a moment in the season so far that you guys would say has been the turning point, that's really turned things around and made you guys, really successful at this moment, 6 straight wins?
Yeah, I believe it was the second loss that kind of like stoked the fire a little bit, and we made a promise to ourselves that like we're not going to feel that feeling again, and we just wanted to just feel like champions, even though it's one game at a time.
So you guys at the moment are tied on top of the standings with Feather River. You have a couple of really important games, Gavilan, and of course a big showdown with Feather River coming up. What are the keys to finishing out the rest of the season, staying on top, and hopefully getting that home playoff game here at the Redwood Bowl?
Monday. That's the first key. And and then Tuesday, and then Wednesday,
Yep.
So we just got to take it every day at a time. And then, Feather River, that'll come. But right now we're focused on Gavilan and trying to ball out against Gavilan.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Have a good rest of your day. Great game. And we'll be right back here next Saturday at 1 o'clock. I want to give a huge thanks to Matt Knight in the KZZH Access Humboldt Studios for having me on. It's been really fun. Huge thanks to the entire College of the Redwoods athletic staff for getting me up to speed. I had a great time and look forward to next Saturday here at the Redwood Bowl against Gavilan right here on KZZH 96.7 and live on YouTube.
Thanks for joining us on CR Sports Wrap. To find out more about College of the Redwoods athletics, go to redwoods.edu. Access Humboldt, local voices through community media.